Okay, so let's go on to the goats. So the goats, again, we don't have much happening for the goats there. So put into the comment section if you have a goat. And I'm going to talk about this one a little bit more because it is a clash animal and I want to help you with that. All right. If you have a clash in your year of birth, what I want you to think about is that it is going to be a potential change in your friends, the networks that you happen to be in. You may change them or level them up. That's my suggestion. You may go, even with your friends and social circles, it's like, we just don't see eye to eye anymore. I've grown this way, they've grown that way. You just kind of grow apart. It's not like you're forever angry at them. It's just like you maybe just grow apart. You may be angry. You may fire a friend or two. That's in your chart this year, and it may have already happened because the energy's already here, right? But be on the outlook for that because that is certainly what can happen this year. So you can use it on the positive side and direct it by making the change because the change will happen. When you have a clash, we know something is going to change. So if you can direct it, you will have a much better time because if you don't do it, the universe will provide. So you can fulfill this by doing it this way. All right, for the month of birth, you might be changing something in your career. You may change the way in which you're doing your career. You can still stay in it, but very different. So most likely it's going to be technology. And then there might be some change as far as your character, and which good or for better or worse, there is going to be change in some part of it if the goat is located in your month of birth. And this is also where I look for health. So there might be a health change. That's why last year I started really seriously taking a look at my health care. Your chart has so many indications about health, but this is kind of that prevailing energy of what we would be looking at, okay? The day of birth, if you're single, you may become married. If you're married, you may become divorced. It could be you change your mindset once and for all. Wouldn't that be great? Like, okay, I get it. I get that I'm doing this negative self-talk, or I get that, what I'm, consuming in my mind, or however I get my information that forms my thoughts. Maybe I'm going to change that up a little bit so I end up becoming a better person. That's why I want you to direct it versus a non-directional flow can be kind of chaotic, right? And then your hour of birth, that's about your goals, right? Your legacy, your dreams and aspirations. You may have gone as far as you are in life, and all of a sudden this year you go, I don't think that's my life purpose anymore. Or I just don't think that that's what my legacy to be. So there might be some modifications. You may start a foundation because of there might be some sort of cause or philanthropic path that you want to follow just because of the goat being in your hour of birth. Okay? And then obviously you have July. Look, July's really starting to fill up with more green there. We love that on the time blazer. And so those are some good dates for you just from the month view anyway. Okay, now let's look at what the goat has. Now, goats will be good for some properties this year, and obviously we've got a lot of properties that are being moved. I have one client that last year, and I know this is the new way of doing things, she bought and closed on she moved from California to the East Coast, and not so coastal, but anyway, far from here. The first day she saw her new home was the day the moving trucks pulled up with her furniture. It's like, wow, but that's the new way of doing things, right? So don't be surprised that would happen for you, but you do have some good property luck. Let's put it that way, okay? All right, this is what's called the year breaker, because the year of the ox and then the goat is on the opposite side. This is where we break the year. So in the month of the goat, which is July, this is when the ox is gonna try to make a lot of change in your life if it hasn't happened already. But it's gonna start calling to you. So there you go. All right, so they are opposite sides of the zodiac, so you do want to expect some big change for sure, like I said, but get in front of that change and direct it versus it just happening to you. All right, so we'll talk a little bit more about that sector in the feng shui area, and then, but we also have, like, you could unknowingly offend someone this year. So sometimes when you make jokes, and we have to be super careful on our Zoom screens or when we're out and about. We were talking about today while we were setting up, we all had our masks on, and it's like you can still see a person smile, right? You can still see it in there. So we have to do, like, this facial recognition is right here, right? This is what we get to look at until we're able to completely take off our masks and get back into a way of life that's a little bit different from right now. But you still can see anger, you can see fear, you can see happiness. So anyway, be careful of some of the jokes or side jokes or things that you might think are funny. It might be very offensive to someone else. So check your humor gauge or some of the words that you say. Now you, my friends, are the ones that get the big spender. You're the ones that are going to spend a lot of money this year. So what I can tell you at the beginning of the year is this, because I just went through it. And basically, you guys, all of these energies that I'm telling you, at some point in your lifetime, and if you're over 12, I know you're over 12 if you're attending this event, you are going to experience all of these energies that are happening because they are a repeatable pattern. It's just some years they're going to show up in one animal and some in the other. They're not exactly going to be the same. There are going to be some mixes, but then we do know for certain, like, this year is the year of the ox. We automatically know that the year breaker is going to be in the goat. So we do know that some of the things are going to travel as we go through the animals. So again, please know that just because you have either a good or bad animal that I've talked about so far, that every year you have a new opportunity to grow. Okay? So you're going to spend some money this year. You might want to start thinking about putting a reserve, really putting a reserve, because this is big money. This is not something in big in your world. Big in your world. Big in your world may be upgrading your phone. Big in your world may be you have to buy a brand new car. Big in your world might be you move. And by the way, if the goat falls in your day of birth, one of the great ways to fulfill that is move. That is a really great way to fulfill that clash. Anyway, you are going to spend money, so start planning for it now. Like, get your credit line if you can get one, or make sure you have enough on your credit card. Like, don't max them out. You will be needing that money. Tell me next year if I'm wrong. Okay, let's go, let's see. Yeah, let's go down. Yeah, the best friends of the goat. Remember, we said we're going to start repeating because we're about halfway through the animals right now, is the horse. And then the three harmony is the goats, pigs, and rabbits, which bring more wood in your chart. And then the clash animals are going to be the goat and the ox. So again, these are the ones that are kind of the important animals of the year because it is the year of the ox.